factory clean, fresh from the glass factory. Virgin bottles. Alrighty, happy Homebrew Wednesday everybody. Look at this, I can pan all the way around to me. Got the wife's old tripod. Thank you, Jody. So I've got a lever that I can hold on to it now. Look, this bit and the bit at the bottom down here that you can't see because if I tilt the camera it still moves away, they slide off, so it goes bloop. That's why I got it, because it's broken. But it doesn't matter because I just need a fixed spot that I can put my camera in when I talk, instead of trying to balance it on something and it falling over. But, yeah. So, happy Homebrew Wednesday everybody. First off, I have a box. Actually, first off, look at that panning, isn't that cool? First off, I've had a clean up. Look at this. Ooh. I've got shelves. If you had been on Facebook, you would have seen that I put some shelves up over the weekend. Glass, with glass sitting on it. In earthquake country. Yeah, fuck it. Living life by the edge, eh? No, I will be getting some little clips that come up and they create a stop so that if the bottles start to slide this away, they won't fall off. And the glass is on rubber, so it's not going to slide anyway. And rubber matting and bits and pieces like that. But hey, I needed to start tidying up the brewery because it was getting a bit shabby. There's still a big shabby mess here. Look, oh, my copper tower. Yes, there's still a shabby mess in the corner, but I'm getting to that end of the brewery. What I needed to do, oh look at those wonderful shots, was tidy up the brew cabinet so it looks pretty again. All the stuff that I need is sitting in here. Ooh, lots of stuff there, but it's not cluttered because most of the time I'm sitting against the brew cabinet and it looked a mess, so got to tidy up. But anyway, back to what I was first going to talk about. It's this little box here that has my name on it. Let's open it up. I know what it is, so there's no surprises here. Well, no surprises for me, but maybe surprises for the viewers. This is my beers for the 2014 War of the Wheats. So they have been in the fridge. I've just whipped them out now so that everybody can see them. So as some of you may know, Braden won the Smash Off, which was the last competition that we had via Hut Brewer Facebook group. And seeing he won it, it was his job to come up with the next competition. And his next competition was War of the Wheats. Brewing something that was a Weizen or a Dunkelweizen or a Weizenbock within BJCP style guidelines. So 15A, B and C. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll know that I've started drinking a couple of these beers. Now, I had some spare ones. So there was a couple left over that I managed to get from Carl at All Grain. So those are the ones that I've been drinking. These ones here are the actual competition beers for the War of the Wheats. All individually numbered, so we don't know whose is whose. And we're going to rate them. And they're also going to be judged by some judges to BJCP Guide style lines. So, without further ado, let's pick a beer. Let's have one, eh? I'm going to have this one. 11A. Let's put you on the tripod. While I pour the beer. Yum. There she be. 11A in the War of the Wheats. I'll taste this throughout the video and I'll do some notes for the judging. But anyway, cheers. Interesting. Right, let's get these back in the fridge. Alrighty, another week done and dusted. I got a brew down on the weekend and it was a epic pale ale. A little bit of a funny story behind the epic pale ale that I put down. It was a kit, an all grain kit from Brewing in New Zealand. I'll put the link down the bottom. That somebody had picked up. They had ordered it online, going, oh, epic pale ale, I like epic pale ale. And so they brought it. When it turned up and they opened up the box and they went, hang on a minute, this isn't beer, this is grains and green stuff and a sachet of yeast. What the hell? Thought it was going to be beer. So, somebody ordered an all grain beer kit thinking that it would be beer that they could pop and drink. So they left it sitting in the garage for a month and a bit, and then they finally dropped it into Carl at All Grain. And I was around at All Grains on Friday picking up my yeast beers, and he said to me, do you want it? I said, ooh, how old is it? Oh, it's been sitting probably in a warm spot, and it's been milled, and it's a month and a bit old. Ooh, don't know. Yeah, why not? We can't let grains get thrown out, can we? We can't let them just be thrown on the compost without giving them the chance to turn into beer. Now the hops, they were stuffed. They had been too warm, so yeah, hops gone. Had to get rid of the hops. Grains were perfectly fine. Grains went in the mash tun. Grains were mashed. I got some video of that. The yeast was a US-05, and I put it in. I used it. It's in the fridge for me too. Bubble. There we go. Bubble again. Yeast is fine. Colour's looking okay. Got a nice little krausen that's been formed. Yeast worked. Oh shit, that smells good in there. I ended up with a pre-boil gravity of 1045, and I ended up with a post-boil gravity of 1055, and it is a 23 litre batch. With the hops that I put in there, I replaced the Cascade with Centennial, and I used my Smurf hat. This is a 200 micron NMO, nylon magic orifice, I don't know, NMO, it stands for something. It's meant to be really easy to clean. Clean up well though. Nah, it's just staining, but hey, it did actually clean up really well. So these are biodiesel filters, and I'm going to use it in a hop spider. It's got a nice rigid ring around it, and I'm actually probably just going to clamp to drop that in the kettle. So I gave that a crack. So this is 200 micron. I have a 400 micron one as well, which of course is bigger hops, and it seemed to work really, really well. Now I put in, as I said, the recipe, well the pack of hops that came with it was 239 grams of hops. So I put in 230 grams of Centennial, because that's what I had on hand. Thanks to Yakima Valley Hops, because there were some hops that they sent over to me. Cheers, Yakima Valley Hops. And what I did is I did a 50 grams of hops as first wood hops, so before the kettle had filled up, and then once I hit hop break I put another 50 grams in, and then at 45 minutes I put another 50 grams in, but those 50 grams I actually sprinkled into the beer, not into the hop sack, just for shits and giggles really. And then at flame out I put the remaining 80 grams into the bag, cooled it down, put it in a fermenter, and it's in the fridge. I picked this beer to drink because I've already tasted it and rated it, so I don't have to worry about writing notes and bits and pieces in my score while I drink this one. Haha! Clever, cunning. Means I can just sit back and enjoy drinking a beer while chatting to you. One other thing I've been working on is the parallel counterflow chiller. So I've got some bits. Now, as I said, I'm going to do a video all about this, so I'm just slowly getting all my little bits and pieces together, working out my sizes, my bend radiuses and everything like that, so that I know what are all the bits that we need to build a parallel counterflow chiller, all the way down to the little brackets that we need to hold it on the wall or hold it onto a base plate. On the end of my chiller is going to be a temperature gauge, and also there is a aeration stone. So I have one of these little aeration stones. If I take it out, it's an inline aeration stone that I can hook up my oxygen tank to. There we go. And I can aerate the wort coming out before it goes into the fermenter. So I'm just sorting out all these little bits and pieces. There are a couple more bits. Screw in. You can never screw in with one hand. There we go. There are a couple more bits and pieces that I need to get. I want to use quick disconnects as joiners between these two T's, or between, sorry, it's not a T, that's a three-way ball valve, so that I can recirculate, and then when I've got it chilled to the right temperature I can go poof, and it comes through the aeration stone and out this into my fermenter. But anyway, the connections between these, I want to use quick disconnects so that I can disassemble the bits and pieces and also position them properly. Because we all know that when we tighten something up with a stud, the chances of the dial being in the right orientation from the tightening up is wrong. It might be there. It's like, oh, fuck. So by using some quick disconnects at some of the key points, we have a bit of play, because we can move some things around with a quick disconnect. It's like using a pipe union joint or a triclover, but the quick disconnects are just a little bit cheaper and take up a little bit less room than the triclovers. But it just gives us some freedom to position in a rotation point of view our components so that they're square and parallel and lined up correctly. I've got a quick shout out for Chris Mills from Kereru Brewing in Upper Hutton, Wellington. Now, Chris has got a great little brewery set up there, and he brews some wonderful beers, like the wood-fired toasted coconut porter. Does some great beers. He does a gluten-free beer. It tastes like beer. So if you have friends, if you're in Wellington, if you're in the States, demand it, hey? And we'll get it shipped over. But if you're in Wellington and New Zealand, for that matter, and you have a friend that is gluten-free or a celiac, so they can't have wheat products and stuff like that. Oh, I can't have wheat products. Oh my god, I'm gonna drink beer. Chris makes a gluten-free beer, and it tastes like raw beer. I drink it, I'm not even gluten-free, and it's like, this tastes great. He does a great job. It's a flagship beer. I'd say it is definitely a flagship beer that he has in his brewery. He does a stellar job with it. Anyway, getting back to Chris, I popped up and got some bottles from him. Some of these 12 ounce 330ml glass bottles. Clean, straight from the factory. No cleaning of these little puppies. I just give them a sanitize, fill them up, and away I go. And I got about 250 of them. As many as I could fit in boxes into the car. Now, if you're in Wellington and you want some bottles, give me a yell, because I'll try and organise a time that we can go up and get some bottles from Chris, because he has about 5,000 of these little puppies that he needs to get rid of. The reason he needs to get rid of them is because they don't have a little tiny indent for the label, like this panhead bottle. There is a little tiny indent. I'm not sure whether we can see that there. Zoom right up. You might be able to see that little line just sort of floating around there. But that is it. The little indent is so that when the label goes on and the bottles sit next to each other, the labels don't rub and they don't stick. The glass rubs against the glass, which is a good thing. It's clever design. However, these bottles came without that little indent. It's like, okay, we still use them? No, because the bottling machine is a finicky little thing and these bottles get stuck. So, it's got a bunch of bottles. They are perfect for my bottling system. Done. My bottling system doesn't get jammed. I can only do one at a time. Now, if there's any homebrewers out in the Wellington region that want to get some of these bottles, please drop me a PM, drop me an email, and we'll try and organise a time to shoot up and see Chris. The reason I say drop me an email instead of asking Chris is that Chris is busy brewing beer. These bottles are just... oh, it's a motorbike. These bottles are just sitting there. We don't want to waste his time going out and have a look and counting and blah 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 blah. So I can organise and I can help people out to get some bottles if we need to do this. Anyway, cheers. Have yourself another one.